Dwarf goblins.
Dwarf goblins. That should have been an instant fix. Yeah, test. No, it should be all set right now. Everything should be good now. Yes, yeah, because it wasn't detecting my microphone for some reason, and I had to do a reset. Microphone is healthy again. Yeah, there we go. I don't know why, but it just like kicked out my SM7B from I don't know. Well, we just move forward. I did intentionally end it, yeah, because it wouldn't allow me to like re-add the device in the middle of the stream. How bad was that? I gotta hear it now. That had to be rough. Is done, so it shouldn't be. Oh no! Oh, that sounded like ass. I didn't see anyone say anything about it. Oh great, and now the chat's not loading. Why is chat not loading now? I give you guys your own, like, third of the whole fucking screen over here. Over here. And now it's just not working? How bad was this? Ain't affecting anything over there. This is just for game found. So... Wow. That's rough. Because my microphone's connected now. Yeah, I know, right? It solved one problem, 5 others show up. We just turn off chat? Yeah. Why is this not working? No. Chat box. That should be... Right. That should be exporting all of the chat. Maybe, wait, what if I do a refresh? Oh, wait, there we go. Hey, all right, now you're showing up. What a mystery this stream has been. Hey, you know, we made it. I don't know. I don't know what was going on. I don't know. Let's see if I go here. Everything's fine. Okay. I guess we're good. Okay. Now going back into this. All right. Now we'll get back on track. All right. Yeah, I need to pull this desk out and get things reconfigured in this room a little bit. Somebody was asking earlier, like, hey, I thought you moved or something. No. Actually, I got this bookshelf over here, and you guys can't really see it well, but oh, okay, that didn't work. That is all of my TTRPG books. Can you move? Can you move? Oh, it's a three shelf kind of situation over there. Trying to get that all going. Since when did I have that neon, the Land of the Blind neon sign? It's been a year, I want to say. Yeah, phone background is the cover art, yeah. Now... Okay. So I wanted to talk about some of the confusion that was going on with Imbue, and explain this. You know, so we had done this earlier, but the audio was so ass, so I can't blame people for being like, ew, I didn't want to sit around for that. Now, real quick, because people in the chat got it. Imbue, the way that this works is it is not intended to be you imbue the item and the item is affected by the spell. It is you imbue the item and the item becomes a conduit for which you can cast the spell upon a hit. This is all for the magic weapon fantasy right here. This is another thing. If you wanted to like imbue a rock and you throw the rock at somebody and it's like a fucking bomb, that's imbue. Imbue is the way that would work. You thought I had removed it from the set for a minute? No. It's still in here. Okay, so there's also that. Imbue. Can we keep casting imbue spells into the same weapon to get like 5 spells on a hit? Yes, and it just costs you 6 actions to make that happen. This is the thing. A lot of people really try to think of like a million different ways that they can make imbue fucking absurdly busted. If you do the prep that you get in there and do this or whatever, okay, so everybody's focus is eaten up now. And everybody's going to try and get this one guy to go in and have one thing hit so they can pop off all their spells. That is very cool. That is a very cool fantasy. But the opportunity cost involved with it is also like, I guess if you prep it, this is good, but cool. I like the fact that you guys are thinking about being supports like that. Like that's about it. Yeah. Now it is costing you that. It is also going to cost you the extra mana whenever that pops off to do the thing. Is it probably going to be worth it to condense down a bunch of spells into one single check? Maybe. Probably. That sounds kind of dope. But that's also putting 6 different spells into one type of check, like one single check, which means that if it's a whiff, it's an even bigger whiff. Like, party of 3 dancers and 1 lone mage. If that's what they want to do, that's how they want to play the game, you know? Like, that's kind of the way I'm thinking about it. Like, cool, you all decided to be the one cheerleader for this guy right here. Go for it. It is, any way you break it, it is a high risk. So there is a trade-off there. Could it work? Yes, that's the point. It should. I would like it to. I would really like it to. And yeah. Also, this is another thing that like, I think I saw it happening a lot as I'm getting into Magic the Gathering. Discovering a combo does not mean that you've broken the game. I'll say that again. Discovering a good combo does not mean that you've broken the game. It means you found a combo. You have to finish some emergency at work, but you just received your book this week. Hell yeah! So far, you love so many novel rules and design. You're playing it this Thursday with a group of 5. Group of 5, 3 newbies. Hell yeah! Let me know how it goes. Yep, it serves the beer and pretzels thing. Yep. Does hold require focus? If you want the spell to persist, yes, just like any other spell. This is an interesting one that came up, and it's worth kind of mentioning a clarification here. Spell, life. Does the hit point healing of life reoccur on subsequent rounds when you focus on it? No. Let me explain why. Focusing on a spell and making something persist multiple rounds, that only impacts the damage and the effects of the spell. Anything that says it is an additional cost is something that you will have to pay whenever you re-trigger that thing on other rounds. Okay? This doesn't do the aura of vitality, like everyone around me just regains hit points because I'm that awesome kind of a thing. It's still going to require the cost of additional mana. If it's don't use the word additional, no, it doesn't have to specify additional cost. It's the fact of whenever I look at the spell here, In addition, you can spend mana with this spell to heal a target for d6 hit points per mana spent to do so. You can spend mana. That doesn't mean that, like, okay, so basically making it persist over time just means that those people can become viable targets of the spell again, right? Does that make sense? So because they can become viable targets of that spell, you can do this second part of it where it's saying you can spend mana. The fact that it says that as another part of the spell, if you can spend mana in a separate way inside of the effect, that is an additional cost. That's how this works out. Otherwise, life is just the thing that you throw up for free by spending, well, you spend 3 mana to just have a permanent regeneration, and that's not how this spell was designed. Let me take a look. And I will just say, continuous misinterpretations of things like that I'm just like, you got to play the book as it was written, because if you're going to say that something's busted and it's not the way that it was written in the book, I'm like, you're doing a homebrew thing on it. I would like to get these all. Do I really? Oh no, I feel like I just mangled something else. We'll fix the formatting later. Came across the live stream and look for the Discord link. Is there one in the bid description? Or is it for Patreon only? No, there's I actually think here. I need to just get a permanent link again. I stopped doing the permanent link about a year ago because Discord was just not really worth it at that point, and we did the rebuild. Oh. Hang on. I gotta post this in chat. You might hear me echo for a split second. You might hear me. Boom, that's a Discord invite. I gotta also update all my shit on YouTube. Okay. Alright, FAQs. So, get me... Let's see here. Get me your frequently asked questions about the system. Let me know. Because this is the way I'm trying to address as many questions as possible. Why can I not pen that? It's still so jank with streaming to YouTube. It's so built up for streaming on Twitch. Alright, are there any other FAQs? Because, like, if there's a question that's come up, I really do want to try to get it answered. This is another thing. Like, I would rather have the FAQ than have 5 people asking the same question in the Discord a bunch. So please, if you got a question, please let me know. Because then I'm going to move on over into the design notes. Oh yeah, and here, let me pull a couple of these up. I've got, is spell damage reduced by armor? No, it is not. That is not the damage of an attack. Here we go. That's a good one. Here. Oh yeah. Boom. This is more of a narrative thing. It's more of a narrative thing. ETA on a VTT option. We have Owlbear Rodeo and Alchemy is on the way. The Alchemy ETA, I don't know for sure. They are very, very busy. But the last communication I had with Chris Eddy was sometime late 2025. So it could be literally any day, or it could be, hey, we had to push this back because Freely got us 3 new games or something like that. I don't know. How many shifts need to pass before a new rest can be started? 0. You can rest twice. Block doesn't work on spells. Block and dodge only work for attacks. Is there a section explaining that what appears in the weapons section of the training are skills, and that the skills in the attack field of the second hero record field show the same DC value with those skills? I put them on the hero record twice for a sake of like ease of reference. If it requires a check, it is always either a skill or a save. I separated the melee and ranged because these were like specific to weapons and they did not have another check associated with them. With finesse and brawl, these had other checks associated with them, which is why they were split. It is the same thing. I would really try to wonder like why it would be different is kind of where I'm thinking, especially if they're using the form fillable PDF, because like that should auto calculate that stuff to be all the same. Could I add a link to the latest erratas in the FAQs? Sure. Here's the errata doc. How am I holding up? Thanks for asking. It's we're doing better. My throat's still kind of mangled. Here, I'm gonna mute this for a second so I can get this over. Here's the errata doc. Boom. There you go. And I guess I'll put that in the... Oh, wait. Where is the most current errata doc? I guess we could put... We'll do that. Uh-oh. Dude, InDesign just had an update yesterday, and like, it does not like copy pasting right now. Okay. It's like freezing up the moment you do a copy paste, and that's taking so much time. Regarding Brawl and Finesse sharing the same cool check difficulty, I personally don't understand exactly how anyone could confuse that. Yeah, I don't... weapons seem to get this confused. The people who asked... the koala cookies, hey, welcome. You've seen recently, at least, seem to have gotten confused about it. That's the thing, is I have to ask like why the confusion is there. I'm trying to diagnose why there's confusion. I think that some assumptions might be getting made that aren't correct, and I don't know what assumption is getting made. I'd like to figure it out so we can try to fix it and address it. But yeah, I also, I don't know how to fix for how people assume something functions whenever it's not how it's written in the book. You started learning Affinity and you're having a fun time. Hell yeah. I would love to switch over to Affinity, but basically every single thing I have in here for Vagabond is already in InDesign. And the other tricky side of this, why I can't switch over quite yet, all VTT ingestion is requiring an InDesign file. They're not allowing it to be used with Affinity files. So I can't switch. Wait, just got caught up on the last VOD. I've got a whole list of queries and things to take a look at for the second print run if you want to see. Sure. Are they editing notes or are they like what's what? Yeah. The new Affinity, despite Canva, is looking pretty great. Well, like, they're making it free, which is like great, but like, yeah, again, I can't really use it because all the VTT stuff I've been talking about, they're requiring the InDesign files for ingestion. And I can't make an InDesign file, as far as I know, over in Affinity. So, yeah. Have there been any additions to the errata ever since you added? Yeah, okay, so let's talk about the errata. Most of these are straight up grammatical or typo fixes. Very rarely do they actually, I'd say very rarely. There have been some changes that do affect a mechanic, but it's because we realized that the wording didn't really make sense. Or something was causing confusion in a way. So just starting up from the very, very top, a printer's key has been added to the publishing page starting with print 2. What this means is printer's keys. This shows you right here what printing of the book, like what print run it came from, right? I'll show you how to read one here in a second. If you've seen these on a page and you've been like, what does that mean? So you'll see these on a lot of books. This tells you what printing of the book it came from. So typically it's a series of numbers between like 1 to I don't know how many. And what you look for is the lowest number shown to get the print run, the print edition, right? That would mean that all of the ones that are going to come out of this printing are in which edition class? Second, right? So second edition prints, that's print key. Hopefully, yeah. Now, ASCII apostrophes and quotation marks have been changed to typographers apostrophes and quotation marks throughout the entire book. No, it's not a second edition. It's a second printing. Now, what does this mean? Well, now that I can't really find one because we replaced them all. The quotation marks were way more common up in the prelude. What this is, okay. ASCII quotation marks are just strikes. They are not these curved, they're not curved quotation marks. They are literally strike downs. Let's see if I can find one here for quick. Okay, so we're talking about the difference between, this is a typographer's quotation mark. This is an ASCII question mark or quotation mark. There was a setting set over in InDesign that was doing a weird mix of the two. that has been changed throughout the book. They are now all quotation marks are using typography question marks. Typographers question marks. There you go. This was Xfigure Solace has been talking about this. I finally figured out a way to make it to where all the quotation marks are unified as typographers quotation marks. These are the kinds of things I'm talking about, like how we're changing, we're catching the final production polish on it too. Yeah. Now several grammar and punctuation errors have been cleaned up. You'll see this in the okay, let's take a look. Oh wait, like a situation like this right here. Okay, so if you look at the iconic pugilists, there were a couple of situations like Carl, the Dungeon Crawler Carl series. Well, series was italicized, and that's not technically correct. So I've gone through and tried to de-italicize a lot of these instances right here, where it says series, right? Things like that. If they were literally just like a living person, just making it to where that's all, yeah. That's correct. It might still be some. Gotcha. Discretion tools. All this was moving the event play after session 0 because event play references session 0 before that text would have appeared. That's it. Dice. This was strange because I don't know how this happened at all. It's not really an error, but it's just worth the clarification. On this in paper, it didn't say an unmodified 20 for whatever reason. It now specifically states an unmodified 20. It says it in the dice section, but not on the in paper. And yeah, page 15 might still need a correction though. What about page 15? Page 15 says you fail morale checks if you roll over morale, but page 109 says you fail if you roll equal to or over. I thought we caught that. Right? Page 15. Higher than its morale. And then 109. Higher. So it's all unified. It's all unified now. In the example box on page 15. Oh, wait. That's correct. That should all be correct. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we caught that. Okay. Now, combat. The rules for ending combat have been reworded to better explain how retreats impact victory conditions. There was a weird reading of it, and I'm glad that I caught it. Here we go. Surrender. A group surrender is accepted. Flee. A group successfully retreats. This ends the combat. However, the wording that was strange was that it said something about results in victory for the heroes up here. And that could have, I mean, I know it's counterintuitive, but the way that it was written said that if the heroes fled, they would win the combat. And I was like, no, that's not like, okay. So I took out wording that was specific to how that could have been interpreted. And yeah, cause okay, now, adventuring clarification. Grappling rules have been edited down to reduce confusion. Progress clocks fix a capitalization inconsistency, and the Griffin stat block description is now identical to that of the bestiary. Grappling rules have been edited down to reduce confusion. Let me show you. This is in position. Right? Exploration. No, it's alright. Boom. So, attack action and pass brawl check to begin the grapple. Heroes, enemies. It can make a melee attack that restrains, forcing a save. This is how this works out. Heroes, action to save, ending the grapple on a pass and regaining half their speed. Enemies, this is for ending a grapple. Action to force the hero to make a brawl check to maintain the grapple. On a fail, the grapple ends and the enemy regains half its speed. There we go. I hope that that's easy peasy. We'll check on some time stuff. Okay. Using the latest speed. Yeah. We're working on some slight edits here. That's why I didn't have an unmodified in the rules of Alex's OBR extension. Probably, and this will be, we will fix this. Let me see what else. Exploration, break down the door. Again, this is I was just making sure that the rule was not bogged down by wording that made the ruling unclear. Without counter, it now specifically states, without countermeasures, any attempt to break the door down makes a lot of noise, even on a pass check. Because I didn't like the fact of, like, this had to do with spellcasting. And if an object, if it doesn't require a check to target an object, and you just deal the damage, if it said that, well, you still pass the check, but since a check wasn't made, that meant that it wasn't making a lot of noise. You know what I mean? Like, if the spell was cast and it dealt the damage, technically a spell or a check wasn't made, so it wouldn't have done the thing, right? It wouldn't have advanced the progress clock. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. Hero creation, clarification. Okay, this is something that someone pointed out that I was like, okay. Yeah, I need to fix that. This isn't a big error. It was just an oversight that from going through iterations of this didn't get caught. So, what this now states under 3 is, on the table above, choose or roll d12 to determine your stats. Assign them in any order. What this originally said was choose or roll d12 on the table above to determine your stats. And what people were asking was, I thought this meant I got to choose my stats. And they were literally just assigning numbers to their stats. And I was like, that's not okay. So, no, that's not how that works. Now it's more specific. Clarification. Sneak's second sentence has been changed to being illuminated hinders this check against non-blinded enemies, because people were thinking that blinded enemies could still see you fine even though you were illuminated. And I was like, okay, well, like, let's make it intuitive. Let's just try to make it intuitive. Clarification. Text has been added to the craft skill, which now states, your skill to appraise, make an attack with items that aren't conventional weapons. Your difficulty with craft determines the highest value of items you can craft. This now specifically states in here, and attack with items that aren't conventional weapons. That's the text that was added in there. It says it in other places in the book, but it just didn't say it under craft, so that's why that's been added. Halfling and Goblin. There was a redundancy, and this is somewhat of a buff to them, but not really, because it functions the exact same way. Nimble. You have a 5-foot bonus to speed and ignore hinder on reflex saves. This removed the text while you aren't incapacitated, because the incapacitated condition means you automatically fail these, not that there's hinder. So, if we just remove it, that means whenever you're incapacitated, you're failing these checks anyways, and it saved us another line. Twice in the book. So, That's why that was removed, to ignore or to reduce any, you know what I mean? Yeah. That's what we would consider a redundancy. Draken, unification. The breath attack has been rephrased to, you can attack with an endure or will save to make a 15-foot cone of draconic breath that deals 2d6 exploding. This was simply a resorting of the words to do the same thing mechanically, but clean it up to where this ability was only like 5 lines of text, not 7. So this has removed the sentence. It's now only 2 sentences. Yeah, that hopefully that is, people are happier with that in the end. Going over here. Classes, future-proofing. The introduction paragraph has been changed to prevent confusion with the implementation of archetypes and future supplements. What does this mean? Originally, the text up here, it said, heroes take on a class which is an archetype that grants training and features. This was caught by XVR Salis, so we removed the archetype line because we're looking at printing archetypes as a variant rule kind of a thing. So we removed that for future proofing. Really, really good suggestion. Going back over here. Alchemist had a redundancy. All characters can use craft to attack with alchemical items, so that was removed from their class text. Catalyze and Mix have both got some edited down wording. Let's go look over here. Now, Alchemist looks very clean. Very, very clean. Are owlbears intended to be the polymorphable? Yes. Yes. Yes, and it has that beast creature tag. Yes, that's what that's there for. So, it already said in here that like you could attack with alchemical items using craft. Remove that. Remove that straight up. This now is just the feature. Choose 4 alchemical items with a value no higher than your alchemist level times 50s. You only need 5s of materials and alchemy tools equipped to craft them. You learn to craft 1 other alchemical item this way every 2 levels in this class hereafter. Boom. Catalyze is the same. I think there may have been a little bit of an edit there. Mix was edited down. You can take the use action to combine 2 alchemical items, causing both effects to occur simultaneously when used. This combined item lasts for the round, then goes inert. Boom. A couple of these were... What was the other one? Was it potency? Yes, explode has been capitalized throughout the game. Let me see here. Blazing Bones and Frost / Shock Mages have bolt delivery casts. Oh, dang it. Yeah, that should be remote. Damn it. I've got to find that. Bard. Okay. Luckily, luckily I heard about this. And I see how the confusion happened. But good God, this was a spot where I couldn't justify pointing to anything else in the game to say this is why this should not work, because I put in specific beats general. Okay, so I just wanted to mention here that Bard was originally getting rules lawyered into getting 8+ to stats with advancement. This was not how it was intended, but the advancement perk has been reworded to fix any loopholes. I wanted to make specific mention of that here because what people were doing, what I heard of at least 2 people doing, was going over here and getting well versed. You ignore prerequisites for perks and gain a perk of your choice. Well, what they were doing with that was going over into advancement. I'm sure you know how this is about to go. And saying, oh, well, I ignore this prerequisite of the chosen stat is less than 7. And that means that I can increase one of my stats by 1, which means that I can increase my my presence above 8. And yeah, ignoring the cap. Yes, because specific beats general. So, Bard OP. Well, there we go. So we had to fix something. Okay. Increase one of your stats by 7, but no higher than increase one of your stats by 1, but no higher than 7. That's the nerf. Okay, that's the nerf. Yes, people were breaking. They were apparently breaking the game with a bard. So that's been fixed. That's how it's supposed to operate. So in the future, if you have a version of Vagabond and someone goes, well, actually the bard can do, fucking no, it can't. All right, it can't. That's not what it's supposed to do. 100 in every stat, yeah. There's a couple of things in here that I cleaned up with the bard as well. Song of Rest. During a breather, you and your allies gain a study die and regain additional hit points equal to your presence plus your bard level. I removed the text and if you aren't incapacitated. I just removed it. Yeah, it should also just be known. Hang on. It should also just be known. Your party can't carry around your corpse and benefit from your class features. Like, that's just not. If you're carrying around a dead bard because you still want to get benefit from Song of Rest, it's a dead body. All right, it's a dead party member. You don't have access to those features anymore. That's how it works. All right. Ark of the Covenant. Yeah, you're carrying around. This was the tongue of the bard. We carry it. We get that. Is, oh my god. Okay. Let me see here. Druid. Okay. So Ancient Growth had a restriction to scaling at a max of +3, and that's just not needed anymore. Yeah, they didn't. I mean, they had some features that scaled and everything, but in all reality, there will be other ways for people to get above a +3 to like a relic, and for them to be capped out, especially at a growth that was this slow, felt bad. But it is an on-demand +3 relic, so like this is going to ramp up now. Yeah, your girl is getting buffed. The other thing I was kind of considering is that this should have applied to armor a little bit earlier. The +1 bonus to armor here is nice, but like the thing is, this does stack with other shit. So this stacks with other relics, whereas this didn't, right? Their attacks didn't stack with relics. So that's the trade-off here. You know, while you're polymorphed into a beast, these attacks just don't count as relics until 6th level. Well, now they do. But if you have a relic weapon and you weren't able to use it because you were polymorphed into a fucking electric eel, that was what we were trying to fix here. Yeah. I was trying to think if there was another thing. Oh yeah, polymorph as the verb is now lowercase, whereas polymorph as the noun is uppercase, and which referring to the spell. That's consistent. So that is one of the first major mechanical changes. I say major, it's not major, it's just, it is a buff. Hunter's Mark has been edited down. Fighter didn't get touched at all. Everyone's, as far as I know, everybody really loves Fighter and Gunslinger. They seem extremely happy with the way that these two are performing, despite the fact that Hunter is just, or Fighter is just this right here. People seem to be really loving Fighter right now, so I'm all here for it. Okay, Hunter's Mark. You can mark a being when you attack it or by skipping your move if you can sense it. When you do, the following rules apply. You must focus on the mark. When you attack it, you roll 2d20s and use the highest for the check. This just got edited down. I think it clipped about 2 lines of text. It's kind of about it. Let me go back here. Quarry. You can sense beings within far as if by blind sight if they're missing any hit points or that are marked by your Hunter's Mark. Boom. It just got edited down. It moved the blind sight thing back to the front of the front of the equation, right? Not the end of it. So because of that, we save some lines. And this means it's going to be a lot easier to print in a zine whenever we do like the Advanced Heroes Handbook or something like that. No. Pugilist, there was a weird redundancy. Rope-a-dope had the redundancy with check hook with the line if both attacks use brawl weapons, as check hook already required brawl weapons for the attack. It was a redundancy. Revelator did technically get a buff, but this is how it was supposed to work anyways. So, like, yes, it is a mechanical difference, but it... I mean, okay. So, Paragon's aura originally said close aura, which was a holdover from before making the aura a spell delivery and keying the Revelator off of it. This is now corrected and buffed to 10 feet. So, looking over here, Luminary has not gotten touched, and neither has Magus. People really seem to love both of those. Let me see here. Pugilist we already talked about. Revelator. Yes, 10-foot aura. It used to just say close aura. So, I wanted to make sure. Yes, okay. Sorcerer refers to magic damage. That's just supposed to be any spell damage, any magical damage you take is reduced by half. Should probably use the same language as Magus Aegis Obscura. Okay. Yeah, to unify it. You reduce damage you take from magic-based sources by half. Sure. Alright. Yeah. Wait. Am I having a stroke? Could does Vanguard? Okay, hang on. You can push targets you shove ahead of you while you move during the same turn, shoving it prone when you stop or push it into an occupied space. If you push it into an occupied space, it deals your weapon's damage to the target and whatever occupied the space. This doesn't specify anything about this charge stops. As far as I know, is there any reason why it would stop if you pivoted? Like, I mean, my thought on this was, if you are pushing someone ahead of you, I don't know what's preventing you from moving other than video game logic. Like, if there's a video game, like, I guess we could say Overwatch, you're just literally moving so fast with Reinhardt that, like, you can't really turn well. But no, this does not stop the charge if you pivot. Let me see here. We were at Revelator. Witch. Okay, so Witch has had two clarifications in it. Occultist and Ritualism. Where was it? Yes. Yes. Cast spells using mysticism. Where was this? There was a slight shakeup. Oh! Uh-huh. That's the status. That just needs to be capitalized. All right, Ritualism. All right, I changed the wording in this here because now we are removing the word perform from any rituals, and it is conduct, because it's not a performance of... yeah, okay, so you can conduct a 10-minute ritual as an action. Now, the reason we say this is because all of the ritual perks are now going over into saying conduct a 10-minute ritual that is unified across all the different rituals. So this had to specify in here, once per shift, you can conduct a 10-minute ritual as an action. Boom. Yeah. Back over here. Let me see. Perks, clarification, advancement. We talked about that one earlier. Athame, familiar, and there was another one in here. Primordial summoner. Okay. So Athame says conduct rather than perform. Familiar now says conduct rather than perform, and has been edited down. Familiar. Do I need to have an orchestra? If I yeah. All right. Familiar. Familiar was going over 2 columns. Now it is only 1. You can conduct a 10-minute ritual to conjure a familiar, a loyal ally to you that you control. The familiar can be any small being with hit dice 1. It uses your cast skill for checks and saves, and you can cast spells from the familiar as if it were originating from you. The familiar is vanished when it drops to 0 hit points, or if you conduct this ritual again to create another familiar. Boom. It's no longer 3 paragraphs. We got to edit it down, and it fits all in the right here. I love it right now. Primordial Summoner is also similarly edited down. Hit dice no higher than half your level rounded up. It is an ally that obeys your commands, which you can use which you can issue as an action or by skipping your move, and it uses your cast skill for its checks and saves. If you use this feature to conjure another primordial, the previous one is banished. The reason why this one is more restrictive is because, I mean, it's more powerful. The command is a lot more intense, whereas over here, this is basically just making a spell conduit. Yeah. You do get a little spy. I guess that's fun, but yeah. Okay. Now, going back over into here. Marksmanship is now appearing and is linked in the perks table. This has been fixed. Gish now capitalizes trinkets. Necromancer's last sentence states the target regains hit points equal to half your level round up. Because originally it just said half your level round down. Yes. Because if we were to build a Necromancer class that got that perk at first level, this would mean that this perk didn't do anything. So that's part of why that's been buffed. Primordial Summoner, yes, it abbreviates the hit dice now. Reanimator no longer states it does not require an action to command the undead. This was consistent with more command abilities. Storm Razor now has a duration of CD4 shifts. Just correcting that. Oh, the telepathy stuff. Telepath now states you have telepathy far while you focus on this ability. It was saying you have telepathy to speak with beings within far, whereas this means the same thing. That's why that's been edited down. Transvection now states, this is a fix to this one. If you cast Levitate on an item of 2 slots or less, it gains a fly speed of 30 feet, and you do not need to focus on that cast. It keeps this speed until you use this ability on another item. It was originally... what was it? Yes, it was originally based off of assuming that Levitate granted the fly speed. That's where the mistake was made. That's it. Vituperation now has a sentence added to the end that states, beings without morale can't be affected by this ability. That was how it was supposed to work all the time. Now, throughout the book, all instances of weapon have been properly capitalized. Alchemical items, clairaudience and clairvoyance potions are now unified with the obstruction wording of the ESP potion, and the ESP potion now also states for 1 hour the consumer gains telepathy far. Using this sense requires focus and is obstructed by 1 inch of lead or more than 2 inches of stone, so the other ones get the obstruction wording as well. Whenever I say that we're doing very light fixes and stuff like this, very rarely are the mechanics impacted much. In some cases, the clarification required that we do consider it a buff. Spells. Fog has had the last sentence reworded too. It hinders checks relying on sight of a target within the fog and checks made by beings within the fog relying on sight. Trying to find the best wording for this. And yes, the example cast situation now states 6 mana rather than 5. Relics, these are just corrections. This has been unified with what it was in the Phoenix stat block. A lot of the bestiary, this has been, this is not really a mechanic change, but there's the clarification for you right there. Pit Fiend, Symbol of Pain, now works off of a CD6 rather than 2d10 rounds. That was just an oversight. Unified Lich's Dominator, or the Angel's Dominator with the Liches. Invisible Stalker's invisible ability no longer reprints the invisibility status. Winter Wolf's Frost Breath now lists the Endure save. You see like how this is kind of... These are just fixes to make sure that the text is all... Yeah. Monster type removed Worm and added Artificial. The table has now also been restored for the quests. Random encounter subheader under crawl during crawls. Okay, so a lot of this is just fixing some text, grammatical mistakes, things like that. In some instances, we did need to change something, like the fucking advancement thing. That is still so funny to me. Like, I'm like, okay, fine. We'll clarify in the perk. All right, we'll spin the extra line to clarify it. Any other questions? Because honestly, a lot of the stuff that people are bringing up, like, I'll see it as somebody will like send it to me, but like honestly, XDR Solace has found shit that like I haven't seen anybody be bringing up, and so we're going through it with a fine-tooth comb right now. I do have some other shit I can show you guys too, though. Can I? All right. I'm very happy with the progress and how this is going for Rook and the Crook. And I wanted to show you guys some of the stuff that Guillaume Bonnet has been getting me. I should have saved these before stream. These are progress pics of the map. And it's gonna be kind of fucking dope, not gonna lie. Okay, save that, and then okay, I'll pull this up here in just a second. Once I figure out how to do this. Okay. What's the best place to send you corrections? My email, or I guess on Discord. White energy drain doesn't have a save, right? Because that's part of the. If the attack hits, it's considered you failed to save. Yeah, use common sense, guys. Yeah, but like, I mean, you know, yeah. Not the Monster Heroes Handbook. I do have some stuff ready for that, though. Here we have some previews of maps for Rook and the Crook. Now, these are still the sketches we're kind of putting this all together and like trying to make sure that the different elements of the rooms all line up and they all sync up. But this is underway. And oh man, I cannot wait to see how this shows up in the book. I haven't been this stoked since I was getting like some of the hero artwork for Vagabond. Like, I am so unbelievably hyped to see what the fuck Guillaume does with this thing. Oh my god. I had these images in my mind of like how this would look, but seeing it even just represented as this before we even talk about color. Oh my god. This is gonna be so fucking sick. There's another one. Oh, did I go past 2? No, that was it. Okay. Like, these are different concepts for the same room. And I'm like, oh. I'm fucking loving this. Yeah, I cannot fucking wait. We were trying to figure out perspective-wise what we thought it looked better as, to have like, okay, do we want it tight? Because like, I do like the idea of like it looking tight like this, but also this gives a better sense of scale for how big it actually is. This is a good quick representation. And like, this is a tricky thing with a surreal tower crawl, and why I originally told people like we're probably not going to do a map with it is because the rooms are not all the same dimensions whenever you're inside them, right? There's a lot of TARDISing that happens in here. So, you know, there's a lot of rooms where it is bigger on the inside than it is on the outside. So just, it was weird to try and figure out how we want to represent that spatially. So these are more so ideas for what is in the room rather than an exact, like, here is what is in the room, right? Like, here is the exact dimensions for what's in the room. Monsters Heroes Handbook. I guess some people are asking about that. I'm still waiting on artwork. Let me see. Save that. Oh, yeah, I forgot. There's also another handbook to talk about, another handbook project. I also don't want to inundate people with nothing but a bunch of, like, here's a bunch of wild handbooks, go crazy, guys, and, like, get people overwhelmed with the amount of content. So I'm trying to figure out how to space that out. Oh, yeah, there's another one I'm currently working on. In fact, I've got 2 classes ready to go for it. I don't know that they're finished, but yeah. Is there a place where we can get the PDF of the hero sheet online? Yeah, it's on the product page for the core rulebook. What? Oh. Okay. So, Monster Heroes Handbook, not much has really changed. You guys that have seen the preview of it, here's currently what's kind of in it right now. You have a page size or how many classes / perks things are supposed to be in each scene. I would really like to keep them under 20 pages and like kind of have people chewing on like, okay, this is still delivering a bunch of usable stuff. I mean, we'd be talking about at least 2 new classes. There may be 1 or 2 others added in. I had an idea for another one that I think is going to be better suited for a different book. The more and more I kept thinking about this one, the more I kind of thought it's probably better for this to be saved for the primal kind of, or the primitive heroes handbook or something, right? The Ill Rigger, and people have asked like, doesn't MCDM own this thing? No, they don't. This showed up in an old Dungeons and Dragons magazine. They just popularized it. So as much as they want to trademark it, so no, this is a classic old paladin archetype. There's going to be an animist. I don't know about in this one, but it makes a lot of sense that it could be like, hey, we're going to raise up ghosts and spirits and stuff. That would be kind of sick. But I would need to... I don't know. I'm gonna think about that. We're also talking about more art expense, and if I don't really have the idea so far yet, I'm not gonna push for spending art on that yet. Animus is new info, yeah, but it's not. It isn't even remotely started to get worked on, so don't. Yeah, just hang off there. So this is a variant archetype for the Revelator. The Sanguinist from Skirk and Varg is a variant archetype for the Luminary, and like this is blood magic inside of the Luminary healing package. This is great how changing 3 features turned it into that hit. I have thought a time or two that this would probably work best if I were to make it its own unique thing. Mostly because I think at this point, whenever you're rewriting this much of it, you're kind of better suited just writing the full class instead of forcing it on the chassis. But I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Other than that, everything else in here, you guys basically already know. Pablo Defina did write a bunch of these like grim trinkets for it. So if you wanted like, oh, it's I'm a wizard and I want a creepy trinket, so I'm gonna roll a d20. 17. Grayscale peacock quill that writes in teal ink. Stuff like that, you know. I feel like 2 features is too little. Possibly. I don't know. There's a balance with it, you know. Now, the other thing is, people in the Discord already saw a preview of this. I wanted to make something like this happen. I think it would be really funny to call this the Final Heroes Handbook and make people just super confused. I think that would be hilarious to do. And people are like, wait, the Final Heroes Handbook? Wait, you guys are stopping? It's like, it's all Final Fantasy themed hero options. So, kind of looking at what I could make happen with this. I started out with the monk, and I wrote this the other day, and so far, I have fallen the fuck in love with this thing. This is to me one of the funniest ways. Oh, you sent me the errata corrections. Cool. This to me is one of the funniest ways to play this game. So, the Dragoon. I'm just going to read some of this off, and I want to see how it resonates with people who haven't already seen it yet. So, Dragoons are spear-wielding warriors who emulate the fighting tactics of dragons with massive leaps and magic. So the iconic Dragoons, we have Kane Highwind from Final Fantasy IV. Now, I also wanted to obey my own rules and say, hey, if this only appears in one resource, I probably don't need to make it a full-on class. So I started to think about, where else has this appeared? Oh, fucking of course. Kaladin Stormblessed from the Stormlight Archive, and Mesmer the fucking Impaler from Elden Ring. They are absolutely Dragoons. This 100% makes sense. Mid-defense striking gishes with a ton of mobility. Action is to attack. Move is frontline to midline. You're going to see that this is ridiculous what they're going to be able to do. We're going to see how this works out. The leap spell is new. Yes. Yeah. This is super fucking funny to me. The classes are so short that it's hard Hard to get the 17 pages. Starting pack Knight, I might have to come up with a different one here to make sure that they get a lance. Key stat for Might. Weapon training is melee. Skills, they get mysticism, and 3 other from Arcana, detect, influence, or leadership. Starting out, they get battle litany. So I thought that this was kind of funny to have on some of the Final Fantasy inspired stuff. It might not stick with this. And there might be a version of this later that I reintroduce as something like the Lancer to not make it quite so JRPG. But you gain the limit break perk and can use it once per combat after you score a crit. You get an extra action after you score a crit. Boom. Wait, was Eokarik Runekeeper fucking Final Fantasy reference? No, that was Eokarik was a language in the Forgotten Realms or something like that. If they use it in Final Fantasy, then I don't know. I'm not the lawyer. All right, so here's the thing that most people are going to really be looking at here. Dragoon's Leap. You are permanently under the effects of the Leap spell. Further, you can attack and jump with the same action, and if you hit with an attack after a jump, you can either deal 1d6 damage for 20 feet you leapt, return to the space you leapt from. What's the Leap spell? It would be good if I could find it. Leap. When the target jumps, they can spend any portion of their speed to leap up to that distance horizontally or half that distance vertically. Additionally, they don't take any damage from falling a height that is less than double their speed. So there's a lot packed into this thing. A lot. You are jumping 60 feet. Like, I mean, vertically, what are you jump, or horizontally, what are you jumping? It's pretty fucking far. I am thinking that this is probably too much, and this probably needs to even get increased to 30 feet. Because, I mean, you jumping and you hit with the attack, and if you jump and you don't hit with the attack, you don't get to just go back to where you came from. However, if you hit with it, this is like seen as you're doing this ricochet and like flying back. This probably at 20 feet, probably a bit too much damage. It's a 1d6. That means a lot with basic expert damage structure. That means a lot with basic expert damage structure. Especially because this is so safe. This is a lot. If we're going to give you something like you are permanently basically doubling your jump distance and everything like that, yeah, that's a lot. Plus exploding dice, I mean, yeah. Running a similar idea, we're running in damage scaling, scary with it. Yeah, it's very scary. We're going to have to take a look at it. It's not safe if you're now close to your enemy. Just jump out the next move. You're probably going to have heavy armor on. Just jump out the next move. You just pop in. Whoop! Whoop! Like, yeah. Now, elemental resistance. You reduce cold, fire, and shock damage you take by half your Dragoon level per damage die. It's identical to the Druid stuff. High jump. The distance or height you can leap with the leap spell increases by 10 feet now, and every 4 Dragoon levels hereafter. This is how they're going to become a literal fucking anti-air missile. Meteor. If you roll a crit for an attack check after a jump, you can immediately cast the burn spell for 3d6 damage with a delivery of 10-foot aura without mana. This doesn't require a cast check. Okay, for people who are like, what the fuck is this? I thought this was going to be like another fighter kind of thing. You need to go play Final Fantasy. These things are ridiculous fucking magical knights. And like, is this going to necessarily fit into every single Vagabond world? Probably not. Okay, but this is supposed to be something high fucking fantasy. Wait. Height jump to level 2 feature, what about it? Wait, what? the distance or height you can leap with the... Well, because we just gave you a... we just gave you the, like, you're permanently under the effects of the leap spell. So it feels a little bit weird to suddenly do that. Like, the pattern or the pathing of it is like, this increases immediately. It gets immediately better instead of waiting a couple levels and we give you something in the middle to help boost your defenses. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, with Meteor, I love this idea of, like, you literally hit them so hard, you just explode. Like, I just love that idea. I think that's so fucking funny. And it's kind of in line with a lot of the inspiration. As you'll see, like, here, let me find one. Sid Highwind Limit Break. Let me see some videos. Limit Break Guide. Oh. Of course.
2-5 times normal damage to one enemy.
Okay, let me see here.
Jump 7 times, he learns Dynamite, which does 2.25 times normal damage to all.
Is it? I thought it was his first limit break.
5 times normal damage to one enemy.
No, okay, so that's just the jump in and the slash.
Using boost jump 7 times, he learns Dynamite, which does.
And then he just throws Dynamite, which.
Killing 60 enemies, Sid learns his level 2 limit Hyper Jump, which does 3.5 times normal damage.
Boom, and then the. Right. It's the big explosion after he lands from that. So this is what I wanted to emulate with it. That is so Final Fantasy Dragoon, where it's just like, just because you jumped real high and stabbed him with a sword, or stabbed him with a spear, you explode too. And it's like, I love it. Dragon Dive.
Sid learns his level 3 limit Dragon Dive, which does 1.43.
Another just dive in, explode. Like, oh man.
After using Dragon Dive 5 times,
Big Brawl.
Big Brawl, which does 1.125 times normal damage for 8 hits.
That's just, he goes in and slashes a shitload. But then, I mean, the final one is just he calls in an airship. Like, but Sid is like, Sid's one of the less conventional of the Dragoons, but he's the one I grew up with, you know? So I really wanted to have this have some kind of a representation in the game. Dr. Doom wishes he could foot time like that. Is there a reason you're wording it as a spell cast instead of an AoE damage effect? You can immediately deal. Sure. If you roll a crit for an attack check after a jump, you can immediately deal 3d6 damage to beings of your choice in a 10-foot aura. Like that? To close beings of your choice? Well, that's 5 feet. I mean, I guess. By the way, can I choose who's affected by my AoE damage spell? The intent of it is for it to be fun. Now, here's the thing though. If the idea is like you're throwing out these fireballs at random and you still got 4 of your buddies that are surrounding an enemy or whatever, and you're just choosing to do that because it's like, I don't know. That's between how you and your table want to handle that. That's between you guys. More often than not, I lean in on it probably should damage the people that are caught in the AoE. Maybe make it 2d6? Oh, 2d6 exploding. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that makes a lot more sense. Boy, 46 exploding? Here. If you roll a crit, that I do like that. That, yeah. This is a new class, yeah. Mythic Mind. Once per shift, if you're reduced to 0 hit points, you regain hit points equal to your Dragoon level and can immediately take an action and move. You're getting more. This is like another limit break. This is also from Final Fantasy 14. I want to say this is like the Dragoons, like one of their things. It's called Dragonheart. 3d6. Yeah, now well, if we say enhanced, it means a replacement for these numbers, whereas if we say that, some people might try to say that means it that it increases it by those numbers. And it's like, no, it doesn't. But do you specifically need to use a polearm of some kind? No. Nope. If you wanted to use the sword, you can. Now, the thematic is, sure, you should probably be using a polearm if you wanted to hit the theme. Yeah, but no, I'm not going to restrict it like that. So this is the entire lineup of the class right now. If I were to change something, I would want to get rid of this for something that feels a bit more like it plays into the playstyle. Because this just straight up hits Final Fantasy. Theoretically, you can punch the fucking ground. Yeah, if you wanted to. Most people are going to want to play it with a polearm because they're going to want to play the Dragoon, you know? Because it's just that fucking cool. So you can do this with ranged weapons? It would be terrible. I mean, this thing is trying to push you into being a frontliner. You could do it if you want. If you roll a crit for an attack check after a jump, you can immediately deal 2d6 damage to close beings of your choice. Yeah, if you're like, haha, I shot him and now I explode. Boom! Like, sure. Like, why would it be? Because of non-synergetic features like this right here. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, that too, but yeah. So if you're trying to hit a flying being, I guess, just jump at him. It's so much funnier to do that. It's so much cooler. You just saw Mesmer throw his lance and to do it in Elden Ring. You thought of that? Oh, like they throw the lance, it does the damage, and then he like returns to the lance or something like that. Yeah, no fly jump, good. Yes. Shovel Knight, the class? I don't know that I necessarily see Shovel Knight. So that was kind of my thoughts on that. It might get it again, like, you know, hey, this is initial. Now the other one, Monk. I've heard people out on some of the stuff after I kind of previewed this one. Because there was a mechanic I thought was so cool. I damn near wanted to replace it on the pugilist. So let's talk about this on here. Now, wait. Shovel does tend to attack by falling down with his shovel. There's a little thematic overlap. So does Scrooge McDuck. Is Scrooge a Dragoon? Now, Dragoons do a very specific thing. It is like gravity just... They're able to defy gravity in order to fucking like leap up and use spears to hit shit, you know? Yeah. Add the Mallard to Vagabond for that alone now. Dragooge McDuck. Alright, Monk. So, there was enough of a cool mechanic, I felt like, to justify having a monk separated from a pugilist. The core thing of this is going to be what happens with martial arts versus how pugilist just gets raw, insane damage output, right? So, over here, starting with martial arts, you can use a D4 for finesse weapons, and once per round, you can spend half your speed to make a second finesse attack rather than skip your move. Further, when you hit with a finesse attack, you can either apply the cleave or the keen property, increase the size of your subsequent finesse attack damage dice this round. One Punch Man versus Jojo Aura Aura. Yes, in a way. I think one of the things I might do is... I'll show you. One of the things I might do is this. That makes so much more sense to me. Let me explain why. Pugilist is just, I'm gonna beat the fuck out of you. Monk is, I'm going to go into a combo frenzy. Wait, oh, you weren't? Wait, you went in on the martial arts rather than magical key jazz. Interesting choice. Yes. I think the key mysticism stuff is the kind of thing where I'm just like, I'm not going to touch it. We're not going to borrow from any of that stuff. This is just, what does monk mean to RPGs? You know, I'm not going to get involved with all of the like, yeah. Now, with this, I love the fact of you can swap out some of the other properties for like, wait, yeah, a monk is just a pugilist with fancier moves. Yes. The more and more you hit them, your damage die is going to increase for the round. Boom. It does reset, right? Apply the cleave or the keen property. Cool. A more precise strike or a wider sweep. Whereas a pugilist goes in and they're just like, fuck it, I'm just going to beat the fuck out of them. Like, and they're going to be able to withstand a lot of attacks. Monk is like, I'm not going to be as tanky, but we can lock this guy down a lot better, you know? Wait. I get it because of the 99999 damage, but Tifa is way more of a bruiser. The only real monk thing about her are the flips. No, I mean, Tifa's whole thing is about chaining different attacks together. Pugilist says something different to me. Fleet of Foot, you gain the Treads Lightly perk, and the roll required for you to crit on reflex saves is reduced by an amount equal to your monk level divided by 4 round up. This is from the Dancer, right? Fluid Motion. During your move, you can walk on liquid surfaces and along walls, sinking or floating if you end the move off solid ground. This just felt like a cool... Yeah, that's monk shit right there, right? So you can choose crit after you hit? Yes. whenever you hit with it, if you're like, I rolled a 19, that's going to be a crit. Like, yeah, cool. Go for it. Impetus. If you pass a save to dodge, you ignore 2 of the highest rolled damage dice rather than 1. This is the contrast to the Pugilist. Pugilist gets this to block. They are going to get it to dodge. Yeah, Vagabond's Bard has no magic, so non-magical monk is on brand, yeah. Flurry of Blows. If you have favor on a finesse check, you can forego the favor to make 2 attacks. So, rather than just doing the 1, if you got favor on it, forgo the favor on that to just pop up, you know? You do it a lot more often. And the thing is, keep remembering this. Increase the size of your subsequent finesse attack damage dice this round. So you could, the idea is, you want to build up the combo to eventually do this big old bitch over here. Eventually it starts out as a d6. And then right here, if you roll the highest value for finesse attack damage, you can make another finesse attack. If the die was a d12, the attack deals 9,999 damage. So, I haven't totally run the math on this, but this is very rare that this will ever happen. This is mostly just a ha-ha, wink-wink, nudge-nudge to Final Fantasy. But, woof. I don't know how people can make it go off. And that has no limiter? Yeah. Yeah, that's the intent. If you look at Tifa, like, the thing that I liked about how monks are represented in Final Fantasy is, like, they're almost their own dexterity check. If you look at Tifa, if you look at Zell, and I'm trying to remember what other games. Final Fantasy VIII was more particular about this. With Final Fantasy VIII, with Zell, you had a timer. It was a countdown timer on his limit break. And as long as you kept entering in the fighting combos that it kept giving you, you could just keep using his moves. But it was a dexterity check to see how much damage you could put out with it, which I thought was sick. I love that idea. What is this referencing from Final Fantasy? That's the normal damage cap on a lot of games. I'm trying to remember the last game that broke the damage cap. Or the first game that broke the damage cap. Was it 10? I think 10 might have been the first to break the damage cap. Does anybody know? You need to hit 5 attacks though, which you really can't do without outside help. So we're gonna see. Some features are so good across classes that you don't mind seeing them in a couple of other classes. Yeah, I mean, I wish I had thought of this originally whenever I was making the Pugilist. The funny thing that made me think of it was Magic the Gathering. So this feels more like the Final Fantasy monk to me. And this is a huge deviation from what they had in like D&D. You need Dancer or Limit Break, I think, but with some way to get... Ooh! This one's fucking scary with Dancer. I mean, okay, if what you were doing... If it was a group of, like, 4 dancers and 1 monk, is it possible... I mean, yeah, most likely, you could get that to pop. Mathematically, though, And that would check hook. Right. Okay, look, it was funny. It's very funny to me. But does this just need to get removed? Because if it's too easy to access, yeah, we're canning it. A dancer and limit break would make you go lethal real fast. Maybe it could automatically crit instead. No, I'm not a huge fan of that. I'm gonna scratch my back using a fucking hot glue stick. I can't reach it. Oh my god, how do I have nothing here to scratch my back with? Oh no, that's bad. Ah! Oh no! Ugh. Oh my god, there we go. Maybe you hit this and crit, then you do the 999 thing. I mean, I'm more likely to cut it because the people are gonna like, okay, yeah, if dancer's gonna be a thing, and we're gonna line up like 4 dancers to just make the monk keep constantly going in there, and this is our one thing we ever do. Eh. The first 3 are really reliable to hit, I guess. With 3 dancers and no favor, it's a 1.4 chance. Are we sure? I knew it was astronomically low originally with just the monk. Well, yeah, you can spend you can spend luck to reroll the die you just rolled, but you're rolling a d12. It's not like, yeah, it's not just that you just re-roll it. It's that you're having to spend luck to maybe make this thing pop. You have 1 favor and then 3 dancers. I mean, yeah. You did your math wrong? Okay, so we're deleting it then. No! It's really funny, but it might just cause a lot of confusion, I guess. But like, if you roll the highest value for finesse attack damage, you can make another finesse attack. That's already so good. Yeah, I think that's all right. Other than that, I thought about a samurai because like it's in Final Fantasy everywhere. A summoner is one I would like to hit at some point. As far as what it would be, this is a struggle. I really tried to make summoning make sense in Vagabond, and the thing is, what summoner are we talking about? I think 9 times out of 10, whenever you ask people like, what do they want out of a Final Fantasy summoner, they're asking for Yuna. You feel you'd rather have a way to generate favor than a d6 based die? There's so many ways to get favor, though. Do we go over the Illrigger in depth? I don't think so. What's Yuna? Have you not played Final Fantasy X? Like, probably the second best Final Fantasy ever made. Okay, so the Aeons in Final Fantasy are a thing that Yuna summons. Let me see here. Do we have like a quick... Just show the summons. Because they're so fucking cool. The summon scenes are insane. Oh, come on. Anima has to be the most disgustingly cool. Hang on. Look, of all the goddamn summons in the game, we all know Anima was the shit, right? Let's pull this up. Okay. Come the fuck on now with this thing. So, in Final Fantasy X, and usually with any Final Fantasy that makes Summoner a class, it's typically only one character that is the Summoner, right? People can... other people can summon these things, but typically, if they were going to summon them in those games, it wasn't that they were a summoner, it was that the summon was like a special kind of spell that comes in and does this one attack, and then this creature goes away, right? However, in Final Fantasy X, the summons show up and you like fight as them. And one of the ones that you get, Yuna is the person who summons everything in. And Anima is holy fucking shit, so cool. Oh. Ugh. Oh my god, it's so dope. No, the other thing is, yeah, that's epic. Yeah, this is the thing. Whenever people are like, I want to be a summoner, I'm like, you want, I mean, like, this is cool, but like, the way that they balance this out in Final Fantasy X is like everybody else leaves the battlefield and it's this summon fights everything. And like, that's dope. It is super fucking cool. And it has a brilliant explanation in the lore as to why that happens. But good God. Yeah, Yuna summons. All Aeons and Overdrives? Okay, and this is the remastered. Oh shit, that was loud. Alright, let's see here. But I think that a lot of people really want this. And this is the difficult thing, is like, you can't really do this in a TTRPG without telling everybody else, like, guys, for balance reasons, you're gonna need to stop fighting this thing. Like, you know. Make an MTG/Yu-Gi-Oh! Summoner class? Hang on. Yeah, I'd rather have my summoner let me control one big fuck-off monster than a bunch of minions. Yeah. So, like, she'll summon in one. Veilfor is cool. And then they get, like, one big crazy-ass move. Yeah, Ifrit. I mean, like, guys, these scenes are super dope. I love what it does for the fantasy of the game. But, like, what are we talking about happening here in the impact of a fight? Because I think if it's anything less than what Yuna does, people don't really want it. That's not the effort, you know? I mean, I was pretty happy with this boy. Ifrit fucks shit up in this game. Shiva. Oh, I forget you get Ixion. Shiva. And then, yeah, the Shiva in this game was sick. Although I do think that like her best treatment was Final Fantasy 13. Bahamut, yeah. Dope as shit. Love Bahamut. Where's like Yojimbo? Yeah, I love the like kind of hidden Aeons that they had in the game. Most replayed is this Anima. Yeah. Everybody loves Anima. This thing is so fucked. Oh, it's so good. Yeah, okay. If you thought Anima was cool just from this, though, hang on. You gotta see Oblivion. His limit break is so sick. Yeah, and then you're like, wait, there was a bottom part of this thing? Chaos D's nuts. I'm gonna punch you with my dick! Dude, Anima is so crazy awesome. Oh. And then, yeah, Yojimbo. I love that it's like, yeah, let me fight, or let me bring in this Eldritch God, and then now it's gonna just be, let me give my buddy a call who's really into samurai swords. I think this was like their answer for Odin, like their Odin contrast here. Making a summoner, that's the plan, yeah. Fucking Yojimbo is so funny. You just give him money and he kills everything. Yeah, Yojimbo is cute. Yeah, literally just a guy. Except, yeah, he violently kind of slices things in. Magus Sisters. This was like the ultimate summon for the game. I could never really remember why. How often do you use these things in the game? So that's the thing, is you get the option to use them. And the cutscenes, they offer a way for you to skip the cutscenes. So, like, not only can you just press the button, it's like, okay, I'm ready to skip it now. No, they do auto skip, or they have, like, quicker versions of it. Final Fantasy X was actually pretty ahead of its time for thinking about, like, okay, how much of our bullshit do we really have to put the audience through? Like, but then, like, if you were one of those guys that wanted to just watch that every single time, you could. But yeah, now, like, this is cool. And this is the thing that I think most people are thinking of whenever they're thinking of a summoner, right? But the way that I think it would have to work is more like Final Fantasy XII's. And by the way, this game had... okay. Lots of games had really cool summons, and I like what they do for the lore of 10. I think 10 was the best execution of them. However, as far as character design, Final Fantasy XII's summons were fucking sick. And the naming? Belias the Gigas. These are so sick. Very cool ultimate attack kind of a thing. You get it. Mateus the Corrupt. They feel so much more eldritch in this game. Bro, he did the Dragoon move. What the fuck ever that does? A Dremelec. Where's Kaku? Okay, Zalera the Death Seraph. These are all such fucking dope designs. Yeah. Oh, come on. What the fuck ever? Yes, it's sick. He just like, I got this bitch in my wing. I'm gonna fly. Like, what the fuck is that? Shemhazai, the Whisperer. It's a horse lady. With guns. Now where is... Yes! I love this big disgusting bastard. Cthulhu the Impure. Hell yeah. Oh god. Yeah, Bayonetta Centaur, yeah. Zeramus the Condemner. What the fuck? Like, feels like the unfiltered imagination of a 10-year-old was refined by an artist. Yeah, basically. Exodus. Dude launches rockets out of the scales. That's so fucking funny. Yeah. In terms of gameplay, these are big, just big damage moves. In a lot of cases, yes. But these guys do fight on the battlefield with you. Chaos, Walker of the Wheel. Where's Zodiark? Yeah. I mean, there's Ultima. And, like, Ultima tends to be, in all the Final Fantasies, like, this is, like, the god you summon. But they upped it for Final Fantasy 12. Yeah, it was very cool seeing Ultima, but she's literally just a fucking orbital beam. But Zodiark is the coolest. Like, I fucking love this thing. Ugh. What the fuck? Like, yes, I love it. again, while this is all super sick, everybody is like, I want to play the summoner, I want to do this thing. But whenever you think about it for a TTRPG, it gets more difficult, right? Because, like, it depends on how you want to handle it. If you want to play as Yuna, well, there was a balancing trick that they did with that. And that was, like, whenever you call out the Aeon, everybody else gets pulled away, right? Yeah, counterspell this. So, like, what's the way that people would want it to function? That's the trick, you know? Is it, oh, well, we just summon this guy to do a big fuck all, like, you know, whatever? That's tricky. So I don't really know. Like, did Pathfinder make a summoner? Yes. Eidolon. To summon his powerful outsider called an Eidolon. The Eidolon forms a link with the summoner, who forever after summons an aspect of the same creature. The Eidolon has the same alignment as the summoner that calls it and can speak all of its languages. Eidolon are treated as summoned creatures, except that they can. This is like reading a Yu-Gi-Oh card. Yeah, no hate to you, no hate to Pathfinder players or anything like that. But this is part of the reason why it never really resonated with me. Eidolons are treated as summoned creatures, except they are not sent back to their home plane until reduced to a number of negative hit points equal to or greater than their Constitution score. In addition, due to its tie to its summoner, an Eidolon cannot touch and attack creatures warded from protection of evil and similar effects that prevent contact with summoned creatures. A summoner can summon this Eidolon in a ritual that takes 1 minute to perform. Okay, there's a mechanic right there. When summoned this way, the Eidolon's hit points are unchanged from the last time it was summoned or banished. Okay. The only exception to this is if the Eidolon was slain, in which case it returns with half its normal hit points. The Eidolon does not heal naturally. The Eidolon remains until dismissed by the summoner. The Eidolon is sent back to its home plane due to death. It cannot be summoned in the following day. The Eidolon cannot be sent back to its home plane by means of dispel magic, but spells such as dismissal and banishment normally. If the summoner is unconscious, asleep, or killed, the Eidolon is immediately banished. The Eidolon takes a form shaped by the summoner's desires. Its hit dice, saving throws, skills, feats, and abilities are tied to the summoner's class level and increases as the summoner gains levels. In addition, each Eidolon receives a pool of evolution points based on the summoner's class level that can be used to give the Eidolon different abilities and powers. Whenever a summoner gains a level, he must decide how these points are spent, and they are set until he gains another level of summoner. The Eidolon's physical appearance is up to the summoner, but it always appears as some sort of fantastical creature. This control is not fine enough to make the Eidolon appear like a specific creature. The Eidolon also bears a glowing rune that is identical to a rune that appears on the summoner's forehead as long as the Eidolon is summoned. While this rune can be hidden through mundane means, it cannot be concealed through magic that changes appearances such as alter self, polymorph, though invisibility does conceal it as long as he... Okay. Now, I'm looking at the Pathfinder Summoner, yeah. Woo! So... I don't know what people would want, and this is kind of the thing. You should check incarnate spells. Incarnate. A spell with the incarnate trait is similar in theme to spells that summon creatures, but it doesn't conjure a minion with a summon trait. Instead, when summoned, the incarnate creature takes its arrive action when you finish casting the spell. At the end of your next turn, the incarnate creature can either step, stride, or take the action for another movement type it has, and then it takes its depart action. Oh, this is literally Final Fantasy summoning from like 7 and 8. The spell then ends. The names of the specific arrive and depart actions are listed. Yeah, this is literally Final Fantasy summoning. Other than like Yuna and all that. Arcanist from Fabula Ultima. After you willingly dismiss an arcanum on your turn. Wait. Okay, so these are basically the summoner. Here, I'll tell you what. Let's do this. Because their PDF reader won't let me resize it. Oh, the Adobe update. Did it fix the Acrobat being slow as fuck? I got it. Fall into a deep trance and temporarily project a considerable portion of their soul outside of the body, giving it physical form. Surrounded by this magical shroud, the Arcanist gains a variety of supernatural abilities. These summoned forms are said to be... Oh, is that the trick? Is that the summoner becomes incapacitated while they have this thing out on the battlefield? That is kind of sick. That is a really good balancing measure, actually. Ooh. Huh. Yeah, it's like astral projection. Ooh, that solves a lot of my problems. JoJo Stan? Oh, see, I didn't make it that far in the JoJo's. I didn't know that incapacitated you while you used it. After you willingly dismiss an arcanum on your turn during a conflict, arcanum has not been... Same turn, you have an arcane weapon equipped. You may immediately perform the spell action for free. The spell you can cast this way must have a total mind point cost of... Okay, you may bind... Okay, where do I get to... How do you summon this bastard? You gain its merge benefits. Those benefits last until the arcanum is dismissed. You cannot summon an arcanum while already merged with one. You must first dismiss the current. Two really good restrictions, yes. You become incapacitated. You can only have one out at a time. Yep, I can agree with that. Is it just me or does it sound like a risky druid? I mean, I guess. Closer to Persona? Man. Okay. Oh, okay. This is where this gets tricky. Huh. This would start to require statting up a bunch of stuff. That's fun. The Grimoire. Oh, you summon this thing and answers questions for you. The Oak. So they have... okay, this is probably like the Odin thing. Of the Tower. So like Alexander. of the wheel. So that would be like Ultima. Yeah, Destiny, speed, and time. The tower, the sword, the sky, the oak, the grimoire. Oh, I thought that they were... Create custom arcana from your world. Okay. That's a clever way to handle that in a TTRPG. I can get behind those restrictions. That's quite interesting. And you can flavor it. Huh. So, like, writing this in Vagabond... Where did I put that? I like a lot of what that wants to do. Where's my headers? Why are you all the way down there? You're gonna do that. So immediately I think it is super interesting to do the you enter this trance. And we already kind of have a keywording for that in Vagabond as focus. But this turns into other restrictions. I think that this requires a couple things. Right, you can't take actions or move. I don't know, is the move thing... I don't know. Vulnerable to damage? Nah, no one's gonna want to track that. Hang on. Huh. Ooh, God, man, this fall backwards thing has got me screwed up. Oh. Oh my God. Why not half level? I mean, it starts out really, really good and gets worse later on. Fall backwards, what's that? Daylight savings time. I'm gonna make your summon worse than any of the ones available to you through perks. Well, with that one in there, what does this ramp up to? Let's say I'm a 10th level summoner. What am I getting with that? I actually don't think all that much. However, the abilities they get are pretty wild. An adult dragon. I get worried about the undead with that. You can summon an elephant. I probably want to make it, a behemoth elephant. Any cryptid? God, even the cryptids are scary though, because you can vassal this shit. Oh, it's not that bad. There we go. I'm so glad I keyed that in for a lot of monsters. A dungeon heart. So this is why I'm saying like it's probably got to work off of just certain creature types. Cryptids. Cryptids get you dragons, which is cool. I mean, you can summon Bahamut. It gets you a young dragon. I mean, I would think a 10th level summoner, that's what you're going for, is like, no, I want to summon a dragon. The beasts are kind of like, okay, I mean, I guess you could, but why? You're gonna want undead. Primordials. Or artificial. Artificial, cryptid, outer, primordial, or undead. You want beast as well? I don't know why that feels not summoner to me. Free horse? Yeah! Yeah, for like a minute. Quick, kill it, need it before it vanishes. Restriction of a creature the heroes have seen, so the GM can control the options as much to check. Kind of, but also like that's how the fantasy of it has worked out in Final Fantasy. Usually before you just get a summon, you typically have to fight it. Or it did that later on, which felt so cool. You have to like earn the right to like use it. Yeah, hang on. You guys think about this for a little bit. I am going to take a break. because I've been on for about 2 hours now. I need to double check on Apollo and get him some food and figure out what I'm eating. So you guys hang for a second. I'll be right back. I got these like protein Pop-Tarts. And they're good. But like, oh, there's something funky about the texture of the stuff inside of it. Yeah. I like the idea of limiting it and making that function like a spell list. Oh. Yeah, alchemist, alchemy, yeah. Have it function like polymorph. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Why did I decide to make this a spellcaster? I mean, this is an inherently magical act right here. What if... Trying to see what I think about that. Oh god, yeah, I've got to get food too. You could have bad luck and use it after lose it after one turn. Well, that sounds like the instant summons from Final Fantasy. Yeah, you can command it when you summon it, yeah. Man, I have thought a grilled cheese sounded really good. Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot we got like 2 really good grilled cheese places. Okay. Burning cheese on the outer crust. All right. God, I guess at this point, everyone's basically seeing that my LLC is registered to my address now. So, like, it doesn't really matter if I have DoorDash up on screen. Yeah, I think... What are we talking about here for... Yeah, okay, I don't have to make it. Pizza grilled cheese. Nashville hot grilled cheese. Alright, fuck me up. Let's see. What's this Nashville hot grilled cheese? Alright, we'll do that. Alright, then we'll get back in on the summoner. Whenever this shows up, I think I'll head out for the night. What up, Just a Craft? Yeah, we're working on a summoner class, or at least getting the guts of the idea. Sweet. All right. Yeah, it's gonna be one. It's got to be one single powered one. Ooh. If it's constantly taking at least one mana each turn, there's always going to be a timer on it. Yeah. Okay. It makes sense for it to be able to cast spells using mysticism. We could just give it something called like spell casting, but that maybe okay. This will be unconventional. Wait. No, this is too tricky to key into a spell. It's too tricky to key into a spell. There's too much going on for it to be a spell. Couldn't it be a perk? Yeah, but I'm... We can try this out in a couple different ways. I don't know. Defeated or earned the summon. What if they function like a stand from JoJo? I don't know what that means. Megumi from JJK. I don't know what that means. Yeah. Remember, he's a normie. I've seen anime. It's just like it tends to be that with a lot of the I guess it's shonen stuff. I tend to just clock out on it. Like, I mean, I saw DBZ, but I think DBZ is now a normie anime. Like right now, I'm watching Dandadan, and like Dandadan is fucking sick. Let me see. And I've seen some of JoJo's. I just kind of got to a point with it where I was like, oh, okay, I get what the show's about. I saw up to the Pillarmen. I finished that saga. And then I got to the dude with the hair hat. And I was like, I don't know what's happening anymore. I feel like I kind of lost my grounding at that point, and I just kind of clocked out. What if the summoner always has a pet, but gets the ability to push mana into it to change into a combat ready form? Well, I'm kind of going for the Yuna summoner idea. Once an anime has reached global acclaim, it is, as one would say, for the normies. Part 3 is a big shit. I want to say the funniest thing, though, I'm very happy that it exists because of the bad fucking English that came out of it. Holy shit. I lost it at the... Where was this? Guys, this shit is so funny. Oh my god. Hang on. Okay, whoever did this with the translation or the voice directing team, thank you. I completely lost my mind. Well, yeah, this is so funny. I've wanted to watch JoJo's subbed just because of how rough their English is at times.
Good morning. おはようございます。森尾町レディオ。今日もお相手は私、あなたの隣人甲斐原田。すがすがしい朝ですね。そんな一日の始まりにふさわしい曲です。今朝の一曲はこちらから。Hey baby。そんな不安定なところで戦う気か。ナイスよナイス。Very nice, シーザちゃん。Very pretty nice. Okay, master. Let's kill the whole. adjuster. 早くしたまえ。Do you understand?
This.
Select your card. それが一つ目の願いか。やれるもんならやってみろ。ふざけんじゃねえ。すったことかい。よかろう。叶えよう。
Hell to you. Yes.
Yes, yes, yes. Oh my god. Do you understand? Hell to you.
Yes.
Oh, that's a baseball. Jaggers. Jaggers. ならば私はレッドドラゴンズを選ぼう。Red Dragon.
Red Draggers. Oh my god, it's so good. Oh shit. I wish they had kept that in the like English translations. It's so funny. Oh fuck. Oh my god. Yeah, the oh my god meme. Yeah. That. Oh shit. Alright, how far is my food? I think that there are the guts of a summoner. It is possible. But I'm kind of wondering if it's going to be a bit too complicated. Or, oh. Oh, wait. You've already used the cast action. So you're taking the cast action to summon this thing. Okay. So this means that you can summon it, but if you don't have the mana to keep it active, it gets banished. Get rid of that. We can get rid of this. Wait. There we go. Okay. Okay. You can take the cast action to summon a yeah. A dice equal to or lower than your level. You must conduct a 10-minute ritual to determine... Okay. You can take the cast action to conjure a summon, which is a non-human-like being you have previously defeated, with hit dice equal to or lower than your level. You must conduct a 10-minute ritual to determine which being is your summon before taking this action. Okay, so we have that, right? Focus into... hang on. I don't know that moving needs to be a restriction so much. Yeah, I'm fine with allowing movement. As far as actions go, we're restricting it to where you can't focus on something else. So a first level summoner won't be able to summon anything. I mean, I would just work with your GM to say, like, here's what I would like to summon, and it qualifies for these rules over here. And then with the summoner, hang on. Oh. Ooh. Boom. When it's banished, any abilities that would end on its death end. It uses your cast check for checks and saves it makes. Hang on. You must focus on otherwise the summon is vanished. Uses your cast checks. Okay. If it was, you must use your action. I think choosing a summon needs to be codified better. You must conduct a 10-minute ritual to determine which being is your summon before taking this action. How? Yeah, either a list of spells or summons. Yeah, quasi spellcaster kind of a thought. Yeah, I love that. Like, boom, boom. All right, that's fine. So the question, you have a list of creatures you have defeated. These are your summons. You can do the ritual to select which one you get. The feature will let you have 2 summons with that ritual. Yeah. Should it cost a mana to summon a creature? I mean, right now, this summoner would have it out there for 1 turn before it got too expensive. Maybe 2 or 3. And then they just basically are relying on cantrip level spells for the rest of the time, right? For a 1-hit die creature. I don't know that that's worth it. Maybe a consistent verb between the perk and the class feature. In the perk, this determine which and the... What? Maybe a consistent verb between the perk... What? Between the perk and the class feature. In the perk, it's determine which. Oh. Choose which being is your summon. Gotcha. Okay. Are you going to include monsters inspired by the games or advice on how to run Final Fantasy flavor games? That would be part of the intent, yeah. What else needs to be covered here? You must focus on the summon, spending 1 mana per turn while it's conjured. Otherwise, the summon is banished. It uses your cast check for checks and saves it makes. When it's banished, any abilities... Okay. Whenever it's banished, any abilities that would end on its death end. Okay. You dropping focus as a result of dying would mean, guess what? It also gets banished. Oh. We have food. I'm starving now. Yeah, and that's why we're using defeated. Just it's a part of this nebulous, like, yeah, you're a part of the group that has killed it. Let's not get too specific. Commanding it, I mean, yeah, I guess so. Consistency would be it would be an action. Let's do the consistent thing. Primordial. Boy, I could have really replaced the primordial one with this, huh? Let's see what all this covered that I need to cover in here. Well, they're more powerful, which means it's using the mana. Now, what if you... Oh, this one's dying. Pop that one back, and then create another one. This is why Pathfinder did this. Hang on. Action to skip remove, yeah. I mean, it's more powerful if we say when you focus, you can issue the command. Oh shit. Hey, that is going to be me wrapping this up, actually. We'll come back to it. Because my food just got here. And I've been streaming now for 3 hours. So, everybody, thanks for hanging out with me today. As always, join up with the Discord, all that good business. I'm going to go eat some food. You guys have a great night. I should be back later on this week, and we should be more consistent with streams now that Fulfillment is getting wrapped up on Vagabond. So now that I'm not spending all my waking hours fucking packing boxes. Yeah. Everybody have a good night, and we'll chat with you all here very, very soon. And later.